Surprise, surprise! The County Council, very well known for their efficiency, have deferred the decision of the Fustastica expansion because they need more time to consult. At least it's moved from one desk to another. Keen to not be set back by the bureaucracy and red tape, Fustastica have submitted an application to replace their first ever day one ride with something that fits the park's profile more appropriately. What it could be is one of many, many things. It might not be the exciting big budget expansion they wanted, but at least it means the park can still make progress. Now, Sarah, nice car. It would be a shame if something happened to it. Oh guys, welcome back to Fustastica, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, thank you so much for coming along for the ride, and welcome back to this cacophonous mess. I love to hate it, I really do. Like, we're building a park over a span of time where we're adding things over the seasons. This is definitely that really bad decision that you love to hate. This is definitely something that the park would put into this space, and it absolutely fits the bill, and it fits the headcanon that we're going for with the park. So yeah, I'm okay with it, I'm happy with it. But you're probably wondering, it's midweek. What are we doing here? By the way, it's midweek if you're watching this after the episodes come out. It's midweek. What are we doing here? This is not a Sunday episode. Well, my friend, let me let you in on a secret. This ride needs to go. It's a DLC ride. It was ruining the starter park. That means, by the way, that if you don't have the DLC, you load the park, you can't actually do anything with the park. It completely locks everything in it. So that's no good for you guys if you're wanting to build your own version. So we need to get rid of the ride. Gone. See you later. However, we need to do a small addition, right? So last week, I was putting in the boomerang, this thing down here, and Creators Guild kicked in because I was like, this isn't a Sunday episode. This is just, there's not enough in it that content-wise. I need to do more. So that's why we ended up with the maintenance area over here. But not every single addition this park is going to make is going to be a big budget busting thing. They're going to have smaller things, like Alton Towers doing Toxicator this year. That's the kind of episode that I want to go for. But I also need to ruin the timeline slightly because I need to blueprint all of the stuff I do today, put it into the original starter park, and pretend like it's always been in the park. So this is going to be a bit weird. You're just going to need to run with this one, I think, guys, because, yeah, anyway, let's get this done. Let's treat this as if this is this year's edition, and let's also pretend that it's been here all along. It's fine. We're friends. So let me talk you through what I am thinking for this space. Knowing that the ride needed to have been in since the park started, there's a few contenders that we could probably use. It needs to be a thrill ride. Of course it needs to be a thrill ride. We could start off by using the 360 power here. It would work. It would swing between the trees. It's quite a nice little place for it. It fits, but it's quite similar to the afterburner that we've got on the right-hand side here. So I don't think that's probably the best fit. We could use the forge, this one here, but I think it's a bit niche for this style of park. It's a bit overkill, it's a bit big, and of course you've got the trees and stuff for a collision risk and whatever. You won't be able to keep it as enclosed as this is. So yeah, I don't think that's really a contender. The chair swing is the other contender, this one. It's a bit small for the space, and I do have it eyed up for somewhere else already, so yeah. Spoiler alert, I have actually recorded and rejected an entire episode with a hammer swing in this place. Yeah, this is a thing. This is the second attempt at this episode. But I actually found a better place for the hammer swing to live in the future as a future edition, and I think this would also be too big for an opening attraction or an opening day attraction, so no, we're going to go. However, what that means is we're probably left with only a few little contenders, and I think the glider is probably the best one to go with. It's a similar size to the Whirlpool. It fits quite nicely in this space. When it goes up, it's going to be like here, so it's going to have that whole spectacle view, and I can repurpose a lot of the stuff that I've already done whilst bringing the queues and stuff around here. So let me talk you through what I'm thinking with the rest of the area, because this is going to need a slightly longer queue. So let me get my gravel. I think I want to bring the queue as the old ride did around here. And I think I want to reuse this cattle pen here. But I also want to have an extended queue line that wraps its way somehow round this way through the tree line, like this one does here. Back round this way, through this way, and then bring it back down here. So bit of touching up work that I need to do. I also need to do some tidying up down here, by the way. This is something that I have kept forgetting to do. So this is the prime episode to actually get that touch-up work done. So it's a shorter, more concise episode where we are just loading in a new singular attraction in an episode. And I'm not going to let creator's guilt get in the way of this one. I'm just going to get this done. And I will see you in a minute. Oh my god, the insanity in that first bit is far too loud, and I've changed all the sound levels, and I can't even go back and re-record it because I've overwritten the FARC file, but it's fine. I've closed the ride for this one just in case. And anyway, we're done. I didn't want to do a middle part of the episode, but I got some stuff to talk about and some stuff to do, and I want to do that in a moment. But this is now done, and it's now sitting exactly as I wanted it to, right where it should be, like this, sitting where it is rather than being flushed to this path. Perfect, exactly as I wanted it to be. And don't underestimate this, by the way. This is still an evening's worth of work. I would still publish this episode knowing that I put in a decent day's work to do it, but hey, it's fine. Let's have a look around then. I'm so glad that I did this extra part of the queue line, partly because it gives it a little bit more character and partly because we do actually need it. When I reopened the ride, the queue was coming right back down here, suggesting that yeah, we needed it. The prestige of the ride is quite high, the throughput is quite low, so you need the actual extra queue space. I'm happy with that. I've continued the theme of having the two fence styles, you know, the one for the middle and one for the outside here. It just gives that rural park feeling to it. It's exactly as I wanted it to be. I've tidied up some of the foliage and stuff around here, and of course I've done all of the cattle penning and the queue line edges. Now don't underestimate, by the way, how long that path takes. I really do hope that they're going to do some kind of user experience passing on the way that we do queues and how we can square off stuff, because the nodes for queues just make this really difficult. But hey, anyway, we managed to do it, and I'm so glad that I persevered because it looks good. I think this is like the crowning glory of queues, if there were any. So I've also continued the theme of the hedges around the outside. Now, when I did the Screaming Swing, that was actually a transformation of the area. It felt like it was a brand new addition, but I'm sort of like having to rein that back in and saying, no, we're going for the idea of this ride having been here since day one, so therefore the ride needs to be the same style as the ride that was here originally. So that's why I've continued the hedge, and that's why I've continued this little plaza area down here. This plaza area has needed a little bit of touch up, a little bit of work, but it's, you know, stuff that you wouldn't even notice if I didn't tell you. So it's all good. And then down this way, I've just added in the extra bits of foliage and some extra trees and stuff just to give the area a little bit of life. And other stuff that I do these little techniques and these little things that if I didn't point them out you wouldn't notice them. This is one of them. Just changing some of the terrain along here to make it a little bit more weathered and a little bit more war-torn rather than a little bit more new. That's not me weathering the area because it's gotten old. That's just me toning it down a little bit. Like, it shouldn't have never been that pristine. And then I've just added in some flowers and stuff to give it a little bit of overgrowth, but I like it, right? The hedges now along here, it hides the area. It gives a bit more of a barrier between the ride and the path. Not that you needed it, but it just gives it a little bit of life. To be honest with you, I forgot to do it in the Woody episode, and I've just never gone back to do it. So there you go. That's now rectified. But the reason for this being a middle part of the episode rather than the actual close of the episode is because Frontier has heard my creator guilt, and we have, as of filming this episode, early access to Update 3. Now, by the time this episode comes out, Update 3 will have been long out, but I have access to the Western stuff. And there is so much in here that I'd completely forgotten that I'd missed. Like, the anvil. The anvil is back. The skull, and this is now resizable. Yes. I am going to do a full walkthrough video, by the way, so you probably watch that before you watch this, so forgive me. I'm just getting excited before I do that video with the stuff that I've got back, like this campsite cooking stuff. Amazing. I didn't even realise that I missed this railing, and I have. Oh, there's so much. The train, and the train is resizable. Look, the train is resizable. Yes. Oh, I love it. So what I need to do is go back and do the Western stuff in this episode. I promised that I was going to swap out some stuff. Now, this isn't going to be a fundamental redesign of the area. Don't worry. This is just me tarting up the area with the Western stuff, as I promised. It's not going to be a major transformation. I promise that. But there is another thing I wanted to do in this episode, because as of filming this, the Woody episode has just gone out. And in the episode, we were talking about this little problem that we've got here with the supports, right? And how this just interferes, and I was like, we're just going to have to pretend it doesn't exist, and we're just going to be done with it, right? Happy days, see you later. However, you guys have come along with some incredible ideas on how to fix this, ranging from track ride pieces across the top, etc. And then I was pointed in the direction as, I should have gone there anyway, to Taji 3D's tutorial series that he's got. Incredible series, absolutely incredible, and I was like, of course this might work. So this was actually suggested by Major Pooty, I think that's how you say your username. If I take the plaza tool, so if I take the stamp tool and I put one down, 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 now that in theory should give me the ability to have a small square, or at least something to work with, like that. Right, now the theory is I've put paths down here to get rid of the whole of the support structure in this area, right? So that works to this point. So if I could put a piece of path here, is that going to work? So let's find out, and let's find out live. Exciting! I hope this works. I really do hope this works, because it's going to be game changing if it is. So if I just put that there, oh my god, it works! It totally works! Right, okay, so does that mean then that I can get the edit tool and make this thinner so it can fit into that gap? I don't know if this is going to let me do it. Oh, I mean, that kind of works, doesn't it? Right, can I now select it and move it into place? Maybe. Like, basically what I need to do is try and find a way of sort of hiding it inside here. I mean, that kind of works, doesn't it? Let's put this one back. So if I now copy one across, in theory, that should totally work. OMG. Right. I've got some work to do. I need to tidy that up. I'm not bothered about this sticking out of the bottom. I'm really not. I would take that sticking out of the bottom than the supports in that space. 100%. That's a trade-off I'm totally willing to do. Okay, so I'm going to go and tidy that up. And I'm also going to go and do my extra bits to the western area. I'm going to see you in a minute. Oh, wow. The changes are subtle, but they are very much there. Frontier, thank you so much for giving me an advanced copy of the update. Like, I had no idea just how much I missed the Western stuff. This is not sponsored, by the way, but of course, just in the interests of full disclosure, I've had an advanced update, so I'm not being paid to do this section. This is off my own back, but my god, have I missed the Western stuff. Like, the clutter, the beams, the brick, the lot, right? Oh, it's just so good to have it back, and it's so good to have it rendered in Planet Coaster 2. It just looks amazing, and it's free as well. Free update, amazing. Right, so where do I even begin? Because that sounds like that's a paid bit, right? It's not. I am so chuffed. Let's start here with the very loud insanity. I've attached scenery. I don't do this often to the flat rides. I've kind of taken the decision not to do it, but now that we've got resizable skulls and stuff, it just absolutely works. I've managed to clutter up the area with resizable bits. Like, this train before would have been massive, and now I can put it in and it just sits quite nicely next to the train track. Love it. And I've got the little skull down here as well, and that just fits and just... Oh, I love it, right? I'm going to say I love it a lot. Just get used to it. Take a shot or something. No, actually don't take a shot, because you'll end up wasted by the end of it. So down here, lots of clutter and stuff added. Going for the mine theme, aren't we, right? So we're just steering into the mine theme, but now we can resize stuff. Down here, it just fits. The sign, of course, we don't have a name yet, because the episode where I do this hasn't gone out by the time I film this. This is going to be a weird series, it really is. So, of course, when we get the text and whatever along here, this is going to become the background of the sign, but it's just, it fits. I've swapped out the lampposts, by the way, so it's the same design. I've just swapped out the actual lamps for the Western. Oh no, I haven't done those ones, actually. They're still the Viking ones. There, I've swapped out the lamps for the Western ones, so it now looks fine. Added in some clutter along here, and just a little bit of extra bits, right? So just some extra detailing going on. In the middle here, the railway tracks, they're also resizable. That's genius. that's made this perfect for this area because the original ones were too big. And then of course the train itself can be resized. I don't want this to be too big. I don't want it to domineer the entire area, but I do want it to be a bit of a feature for the queue line. I kind of always wanted to do it, but I held off until we had the western stuff back. There's some stuff, by the way, that's not resizable. It's like the wheel that's on here. That's not resizable. It's still triggerable, but it's not resizable yet. I don't know if it's going to be by the time the update comes out. Maybe not. But it works nonetheless. Ellie isn't in, by the way. Ellie hasn't made a return. Seeing the Viking dude here, Ellie hasn't made a return, but it's fine. I can cope with that. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. So western benches inside here, and then just the little bits of western clutter into this area. Then when we come into the maintenance area, I think this is where I've missed the western stuff the most, like the rope bits and the track. What's it called? That was a nearly bad Freudian slip. Sack truck. Yeah, I've missed the sack truck. I've swapped out the stairs so they're now actual stairs rather than the cage stairs that we had originally. Added in the wanted signs and just some western signs, so you know it's just western style clutter. Inside the station though, had a bit of an overhaul. I've taken out some of the Viking stuff, like the mine carts or the carts that were there, and the lights and stuff. Added in the piano, added in the animatronics and whatever. I mean, I don't want it to be any more than this inside here. It doesn't need to be. It just needed westernizing, wild westing, rather than using all of the Viking stuff too much. Then in the ride area itself, I have actually taken the executive decision to get rid of my windmill and replace it with the in-game one, because my god, I have missed this. It's just such a versatile piece. Like, it's so big, but it fills in such a great space. So welcome back to the windmill. And in the queue line, I'm going to show you the rest of the ride area, by the way, when we do the rest of the queue line, because that's where most of the clutter detail is, because that's where guests are going to be hanging around. So I've just put clutter bits alongside the track here. I still don't want to just steal Rattlesnake, by the way. I'm still using that as a principle, but we're kind of steering into it by now, aren't we? Mine carts and stuff that have been turned over, and all of the I don't remember what these are called, cable things through here. More western clutter, bit more clutter, and a bit more clutter here, right? You're getting the idea. In fact, maybe not love it is the shot taker. Maybe it's clutter, the word clutter. Every time I say clutter. Clutter, 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 clutter. Water tower makes a return, but I have kept my own inside here too. And then when we come round into this part of the queue line, I've added in some mist. I've forgotten to do that, so we've now got mist inside here. And I've swapped out the lights inside the cave, so the lights are now the western one. And then we come through here, just more westerny stuff. I've put the oil pump in, and it's not triggered or anything. I just want it to be a static thing. That's also not resizable, by the way. I think it's because it's an animatronic. I don't think the other animatronics in-game can be resized either, so I think it's at least consistent. And then we just come through into the station, and as I said, we've already seen inside there. So, like I said before, it's not a fundamental, massive transformation where you go, oh my god, that is so different, but having the western stuff has made the difference on a subtle level, and I will absolutely take it. So guys, thank you for getting to the end of this episode. I really do appreciate it. Let me know if this mini style episode of just adding in a single attraction and that being the content, let me know, and that being midweek, let me know if that works, please guys, because that's quite important. Anyway, I will see you on Sunday as usual. It's a big one. It's a big one, and now I've got western, it's going to unlock a lot of the stuff I wanted to do. So mwah, thank you very much. I will see you later. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.